Hello and welcome back to Trigger Smart. As you can see, still working on the studio, but everything's pretty much done except for waiting on the launch chair. So once that comes in, then I'll start filming and setting up in that direction, and it'll be back to business as usual. It's been interesting trying to find little creative ways to make videos and get things done in the meantime. This one is specifically about the Epstein files, but even more specifically about the tools you can use to research it. We know that Ian has this here.
And now we're in web and we're ready to effing party.
He's created this web tool, and I think right now it is not publicly available as far as I know, but and it's not linked in this video or anything, but he talks about it and kind of goes through his version of an AI-powered application that can go through the files and give you more insights and things like that faster. I found it interesting, and you can definitely see some related items and click on videos and images and those type of things too. And then, of course, we have the DOJ justice.gov/Epstein. And you can go here and you can search in things directly. So, for example, you can type in Trump and it'll show you all these different PDFs. It'll ask you if you're 18 or not, but it will show you all these different information based on what's in these PDFs. And some PDFs are PDFs and other PDFs are images. And then there's a video dump as well. And you can search a bunch of different people's names. So we'll say Maxwell, like just Lane Maxwell. We can do Jay-Z. We'll see that Jay-Z shows up in an email. So you can search that way. Now, this is probably the most basic, worst version of how you can search these files. Mostly just because when you go in here, even if you go directly to the disclosures, and go directly to the Transparency Act, which is where this all came from. If you go to a data set, this is how it's laid out. PDF, 0.00001 through a billion. And there's no way to really connect things and move things around and kind of make it work that way. And then you have, obviously, web. And once that is fully released, I didn't get a chance to watch this full video. So if it is fully released, great. If someone can send me a link, that'd be great as well. But it looks like this would be a useful tool once it's up and running and ready to go. And I'm sure this similar type of tool could be used for the Charlie Kirk case, for example. But also going around today is this tool. And I will put this link down in the description, epstein-file-explorer.replit.app. It is an Epstein Files Public Record Explorer. Now, there's one caveat to this, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But basically, the gist is it's AI-powered. And this was a vibe coding session that someone did. And you can see it has disclaimers and different things, but from the dashboard here, you can look at named individuals. And when you click on them, you'll see more information. And as you click on that information, it'll show the actual PDF and the content, but it will also show you people that were mentioned in there as well. And then you can follow them. So it's starting to make some of those connections for you. And then you can come back here, also documents. You can go by type, email, FBI report, flight log, government record, photograph, video. I did a video yesterday just talking about how everything was just mixed together, just thrown in there. Well, this helps bring some clarity to some of that. And I wish this also had something that was like user submitted stuff versus official government stuff, but maybe it'll get to that point eventually. And then you can sort by different sets. So if you know what data set you're looking for, you can do that. So it works just like a regular search. And then you can click on these items, you can view them. And again, if anyone's mentioned, it'll show that as well. Very useful. Come over here, connections. Whoa. Now this is obviously it's a graph chart type setup. This is crazy, but let's say if I click on Brad Edwards, it will just show his connections. And you can obviously click on all these other ones. You can sort it by different stuff over here, different types of people. But coming over here, you can see his direct connections. You can see if they're co-conspirators, legal adversarial, legal counterparts, all these different tags and labels, right? So this tells you who all these people are to this person. So that could be helpful if you're doing a super deep dive in something. Another thing you can do is, and this is my favorite part of this, actually before I show that, let me show this first. So we have people, show the network, and then AI insights. I think this will be built upon, and I think some of these documents and stuff is already part of it, but looking through like the most mentioned persons, connection types, the most common connection is attorney-client. getting down to like investigations and legal representatives and cellmates, right? Top locations. So kind of the stuff that's like the most trending, the stuff that's the most obvious in the files is what this is kind of showing. You can search everything, but the other thing that's really awesome, and the main reason, like I said, why I like this is this timeline. This, to me, is pretty impressive. So if you come in here all the way back to the 50s, you have 1980s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. All times, you can search by categories. So by all these different types, terrorism, legal, political, social, all these different things here. And you can star them. You can do from a certain specific date range. But as you go through here and you scroll down, you'll see the different things that were happening. It gives you details. So like here, 1987, Leslie Wexner becomes Epstein's client. Leslie Wexner, founder of the Limited, becomes a client of Jeffrey Epstein, making the beginning of their deep financial and personal relationship. So for someone who's doing any kind of deep investigation, something like, I mean, you can see this is a huge timeline. But if you come in here and start looking for clues, and some of this stuff is already spelled out for you, this is extremely, extremely useful. So now imagine a combination of all of these. You have this tool here, the Department of Justice, and something like Web from Ian Carroll. You put all those together, and that's extremely powerful. Now, one reason why you do not only want to rely on one tool. So if we have Ian Carroll's tool here, I haven't gotten a chance to play with it yet, so I'll see if I can get on like his beta testing or something. Ian, if you're watching this, or if someone watches this, let Ian know that I'd like to be part of that web testing. And then Department of Justice, we already know that it's severely lacking in any kind of connections. It's just a single file that's just in data sets. Nothing's cross-connected to anything else. You're completely left in the dark. Now, this other tool, this Epstein Files Public Record Explorer, while useful, I already see a problem, a major problem. If I come in here and I go to search the library, and we know, and I've talked about this and a couple of days ago about how I talked about it yesterday, and I believe the original person to bring it up was Asmund Gold. If you search for jerky, for example, it pulls up all the different instances of jerky. Super useful. And kind of gives you a little bit of context for it, right? Gives you like a sentence or two. And then you can click into it and you can see the rest of the email or whatever it may be. And you've already seen this, 6 bags of jerky in the downstairs freezer for the next trip. But coming back here to this one, you would assume you can just go to search and type in jerky, right? Results, 0. So that's why you have to be careful with these AI tools and these things that people are providing, because you don't know if it's going to have everything there. So you might miss really obvious things that you would see from the DOJ site that you might not see in these other tools because it hasn't made those connections. Or maybe like in this case, maybe this tool doesn't actually like scrape the text from the emails, if that makes sense. So that's why it's a good combination of different tools together that probably makes the best investigative tool versus just depending on only one. And if I come in here, for example, and type in Trump, like we know Trump is 100% in those files. So let's see what this comes up with. This has 34 instances or 34 connections for people, 20 people, and 14 events. If you go to DOJ and you search over here for Trump, you get 4,725 results. As you can see, his name shows up multiple times in multiple files, and that can easily inflate this number. But you get the idea. So over here, it's only showing connections to 20 people and 14 events. And maybe this is similar, but it's just mentioning his name a lot more times in different emails and things. So if you get a chance and you have interest, if you're investigating any of this or just curious to see what kind of sick stuff these people were doing, allegedly, then pull up these different tools and check it out. And like I said, I should have my studio, the rebuild should be done tomorrow. Everything else is in place, the lighting, the wall, everything else has been built, the carpet and everything is in. The only thing I'm missing now is the chairs, which to me is probably the most important part. So once those come in, I'll set it up today or tomorrow, and then I will set up all the cameras and everything else and test everything out and make sure that hopefully we're good to go. And I should have something hopefully out Thursday or Friday. And I will probably get back to live streams next week. If you want to support the channel, there's many ways you can do it. Number one way right now would probably be going over to Spotify and letting some of those videos play and get my watch time up. I'm about 400 hours short of being monetized over there. And all of you that have been doing that, very, very much appreciated. And thanks again to all the channel members and mods. There are links down in the description. You can find channel merch, affiliate links, and ways to donate. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this around. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.